Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Canon. So advanced, it's simple. And by 10321, just dial it and save up to 50%. Kenny Albert, Jeff Torborg back in the Bronx. Finale of a 3-game series. Yankees won the first two, 9-5 on Tuesday, 9-6 on Wednesday. There's Tito Martinez sitting out his second consecutive game after he was hit in the upper back by a pitch from Armando Benitez on Tuesday night. Tito in the Yankees' original lineup about 3 hours prior to game time, but a late change, so he watches. His teammates trail the Orioles 1-0, a solo home run off the bat of Rafael Palmeiro in the 4th inning. And Bernie Williams leading off the Yankees' 5th. Takes ball 1. Williams grounded out to the shortstop Bordick, his first time up. Erickson has retired the last 12 Orioles following a leadoff single in the first by Knobloch. Strike called, 1-1.
Well, we were talking between innings, Kenny, that Erickson, who pitched the no-hitter in 1994 against Milwaukee, has no-hitter type stuff tonight. Even though he's given up a hit, his sinker has been down and active, and he's had a nasty slider against right-handers. And when he's thrown an off-speed pitch, he's kept it down, and he's been so effective.
And Williams fouls it off down the left field line, a long foul.
It's amazing to watch a pitcher like this. The minute he elevates the ball a little bit, the ball goes in the air, and even though that went foul, that was not his good sinker. When he has his good sinker down in the strike zone, he gets ground balls. And that ball was just a little bit up. And the same was true of Andy Pettitte. We were talking about the ball that Brady Anderson hit the left field before. That's, you elevate it, so does the hitter.
2 fly ball outs so far. Everything else is strikeout or ground out. 5 strikeouts for Erickson. 2-2.
He has really got nasty stuff. You can see that breaking ball. That was a breaking ball he threw way in on the left-handed hitters. In the old days, people didn't pitch left-handed hitters low and in. They tried to go away, and Bernie Williams' hit zone from the left side of the plate likes the ball up over the plate, surprisingly. Lenny Webster was hoping that was a strike.
Williams a .344 lifetime average against Erickson.
This guy stepped it up as a player in the last couple of years. He's probably even a better hitter right-handed than he is left-handed, but boy, he has done some job for the Yankees.
And that is strikeout number 6 as Bernie Williams heads back to the Yankee dugout. And Erickson has retired 12 consecutive Yankees.
Well, surprisingly enough, this pitch is right in the middle of the plate, but it's an off-speed pitch. It's 83 miles an hour instead of 90-something. See, it's a breaking ball, but it's right in the middle of the plate. Because it's enough off-speed, it fools Bernie Williams, and he swings right through it or over it. Yeah, he's just over the top of it, and it's the change of speeds that got him. That was not real good location.
Here's Tim Raines, who flies to center. His first time up, and Raines takes strike 1.
Normally Erickson, or any good sinker baller, does not strike that many people out. He's got 6 strikeouts, as you mentioned, Kenny. But that shows how sharp his ball is breaking tonight.
His season high is 7. Outside, 1-1.
And that camera shot we're showing you from center field, you can see the ball diving. You can see what hitters have to contend with.
The 1-1 to Raines. As Ripken and Bordick converge, the catch is made by Ripken. 2 away in the 5th. Well, Sunday on Fox Sports Net, it's Formula One racing. The season shifts into high gear as Michael Schumacher looks to repeat at Monte Carlo and help Ferrari close the gap on Mika Hakkinen and the McLarens. The Monaco Grand Prix, Sunday at 2:30 on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings. 2 away in the 5th. Chad Curtis struck out his first time up. Falls behind. 0-1. Scott Erickson making his second start since he agreed to a new 5-year, $32 million contract last Wednesday, which will take him through the year 2003.
You wonder, That's a lot of years for a pitcher, but this guy is a big horse, big, strong guy, gives you innings, never hurt, and he has an unbelievable workout regimen.
And the Orioles felt, why not give it to a guy that we know what he can do, as opposed to spending more on the free agent market.
Absolutely. And a guy you know is healthy and strong and resilient.
And the Orioles had already locked up Rifkin, Messina, and Anderson to long-term contracts. Erickson is the latest, and they still will have 12 pending free agents following this season. As we check out some of the numbers on Erickson, 3 complete games, tied for the major league lead in that category with Kurt Schilling.
That 200+ innings in 6 out of 7 years is an indicator that the guy has a strong arm, must have a nice delivery. In order to throw those many innings without hurting something, you got to have a nice, smooth delivery and be strong. He has all of that. Boy, he has a nasty sinker. He and Kevin Brown have 2 of the hardest sinkers you'll see.
And that's the first walk issued by Erickson. He had retired 13 consecutive Yankees.
Well, it'd be interesting in this situation right now to see if the Yankees try to run. Now, that's Mike Flanagan, the pitching coach, and of course they haven't had too much to cheer about in that Baltimore side of the field for a while. But the Yankees are an aggressive team. Joe Torre does not mind running, and he's got a club that can run. Chad Curtis has stolen 6 bases in 7 attempts. And as we mentioned earlier, Scott Erickson is the type of pitcher that you can run on, and his catcher Lenny Webster had surgery on his elbow over the winter, so that's not a great combination. Even though the Yankees are down a run, they might be aggressive here.
Only the Blue Jays in the American League have stolen more bases than the Yankees. 2 outs, Curtis the runner on first. Brocious 0 for 1, struck out his first time up back in the 3rd inning. 0-1.
Well, if we get a shot of Chad Curtis at first base taking a lead, you'll see when he gets out that he gets his right foot, his foot closest towards second base, open. Whenever you do that, that means you get a good crossover. Watch his right foot, or the one closest to second base, it's open. That means you can take your left foot and turn right over, and you're on the way to second base quicker. It's the guys that end up with their feet parallel or their right foot not open that make them veer their way all the way to second base. Curtis is trying to get a read here. You often look as a manager in the dugout for happy feet. So he's digging his feet in. There he goes.
There goes Curtis. Here's the throw from Webster, and he's safe with his 7th stolen base of the season. Stolen base number 50 for the Yankees.
Lenny Webster didn't have much of a chance on this ball, but you can see his feet get going. Look at that. That is a nice start, and he takes a look in to see where the pitch is. But he makes that easily. Wow, he almost turned his ankle bouncing over the base.
Back to the box. Erickson to Palmeiro. And that retires the Yankees in the 5th. The 2-out walk, and Curtis is stranded.
This is Imagine TV.
Let's go to the big screen.
This May during Mercury's Imagine TV event, it's the Mercury Sable LS Touring Edition. Tune in for just $249 a month and see this exciting cast of extras. No charge leather seating surfaces, no charge moonroof, and no charge ABS. That's a $2,235 value plus $1,500 cash back for $3,735 total savings.
This just in. Cougar loose on the streets of the city.
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Get the most comprehensive recap of the night's news, highlights, analysis, features, and much more on Toyota Sports Night. Neil Hartman, Leslie Goodell, Michael Barkan, Pat Boyle, Derek Gunn, Pete Christie, and Dee Lynham bring you everything you need to know about your home teams. If it's Philadelphia sports you want, then it's Toyota Sports Night you need. Toyota Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet, your sports network.
This is Derek Gunn. Tune in each week right here on Comcast Sportsnet as Brute presents Pennant Chase. Cut to the chase for an insightful look at the world of Major League Baseball, including Baseball Inside Out with views from former Major Leaguer Billy Sample. Fantasy Baseball reports with our rotisserie experts. And each week's best plays and biggest moments as Brood presents Pennant Chase right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Baseball Thursday from Yankee Stadium. Kenny Albert with Jeff Torborg. We move to the top of the 6th inning. Orioles with a 1-0 lead over the Yankees. And the man stepping to the plate for Baltimore, responsible for the game's only run, Rafael Palmeiro, with a 2-out solo shot his last time up in the 4th inning. He had been 5 of his last 28. Palmeiro now with 2 home runs in the series. Hit 1 last night in the 9th inning. Palmeiro 1 for 2 tonight. And he has his 2nd consecutive base hit, a leadoff single here in the 6th. So the Orioles have the leadoff man on for the first time tonight.
That was a pretty good pitch. That was a breaking ball away from me. Just rode it right back through the middle. Palmeiro, of course, has had a heck of a career. Will be a free agent at the end of this season. There's a lot of talk about his leaving the Orioles and going out back to Texas where he played before. But here's the breaking ball. Not a bad pitch. Maybe just a little too high in the strike zone. You wonder how a hitter is, unless he's sitting there looking for a good breaking ball, how he gets on that first pitch.
So with Palmeiro on first, here's Joe Carter, 1 for 2. Singled in his last plate appearance. And he takes ball 1.
We were talking about Palmeiro. Palmeiro last year, his average slipped. He only hit 254. In other years, 94 he had 319, 95, 310, 289, and 96. But with a lot of power numbers.
Fouled hard down the third base line, 1-1.
When you think of what Palmeiro has done from the standpoint of run production, 1995, 39 home runs, 104 RBIs. 1996, 39 home runs again with 142 RBIs. And last year, 38 home runs and 110 RBIs. See, this guy has a nice looking stroke. And then talk about RBIs. This guy, Joe Carter, is one of the best run producers since the mid-'80s in the game.
Now back, 1-2.
We'll never forget that home run to win the World Series for Toronto. Jumping around the bases off of Mitch Williams and the Phillies.
1993.
1993 to finish a World Series. Winning a World Series with a home run, what a feeling that must be.
And Mitch Williams returned to the vet in Philadelphia earlier this month and filled in as the public address announcer.
Did they boo him?
Tough town when the PA announcer gets booed.
Oh, boy. I had a bad game one time on White's birthday, and my wife's birthday was announced on the board, and she got booed.
A 1-2 to Carter. And that is strikeout number 3 for Andy Pettitte. One away in the 6th.
Well, this is a good pitch down low and in. Andy Pettitte, we talked about, has got to keep the ball down with his breaking stuff if he's going to be effective. The only time they seem to have hit him tonight is when he's gotten the ball up over the plate a little bit.
Carter now 1 for 3. 1 out in the 6th. Palmeiro with the leadoff single, the runner on first. Now Ripken 1 for 2. Playing in consecutive game number 2,524.
That's beyond my comprehension. I was fortunate enough to be broadcasting the game when he broke the record, Lou Gehrig's record. But to continue what he's doing is incredible. And if you see his hit zone, he's basically a high ball hitter. Typical right-handed power hitter. Has trouble with the ball low and away. But you can get him out in also.
Bounce foul to the left side, 0-2.
And if you're a pitcher who's standing so close to the plate by the time you deliver the ball, as we saw last Thursday when that the ball went back through the middle off of Sandy Alomar Jr.'s bat and hit Mike Mussina in the face. And yesterday there was a game. Trey Moore, the left-hander of the Expos, somehow caught a ball at his head. And yesterday, Tapani got hit by a ball by Bobby Bonilla off his arm. Well, one of the ways to keep the ball from going back through the middle is to pitch the hitters inside. It's the ball out over the plate that they line back through the middle.
And we mentioned Ripken hit a line drive off Pettit last year.
Yes.
At Yankee Stadium in September, which knocked Pettit out after just 1 inning. And their second base umpire, Drew Coble, coming in to chat with the home plate umpire, Ted Henry.
They must be seeing somebody's flashing something. There's a light on somewhere or something they're concerned about. Drew Coble's a crew chief, and he's talking to Joe Torre about somebody in the stands is flashing something, and the infielders are having trouble seeing.
It's been quite a week for Drew Coble. He was behind the plate last Thursday when Mussina got hit with the line drive against Cleveland. And then Coble was also the home plate umpire here at Yankee Stadium on Tuesday night during the bench clearing brawl.
Coble's a very good umpire. It's a good staff here. Jim Young at first base. Larry Young, excuse me. I'm thinking of umpiring the National League. Larry Young is a wrestling official as well when he's not umpiring Major League games.
And Ripken fouls it back. So the count remains no balls, 2 strikes.
Now this wrestling I'm talking about is professional wrestling, and he does some, I don't know whether, what would you call that? I guess when you go from professional baseball to professional wrestling, 2-sport umpire.
The Bo Jackson of umpiring?
Yes. But anyway, if I get his name right, Larry Young, very good umpire. Good. This is a good crew.
But they're not called umpires in wrestling, are they? Officials.
Referee.
Peacemakers.
I don't know what they're called, to be honest with you, but there's Dale Ford on our shot at the third base, on the third base line. If somebody's flashing a light, you'd think they'd be flashing a light at the infielders of the Orioles if it's a Yankee fan, not when the Yankees are in the field.
The 0-2 from Pettit. And he strikes out Ripken. Second consecutive strikeout for Pettit and his 4th of the evening.
Now this is that big curveball we were talking about. He gets right on top of it and it dives. Watch how this goes down. Boy, that is a nasty, nasty breaking ball. As you see, Rip swing right over the top of this pitch.
Ripken now 1 for 3 tonight as Pettit fires over the first. Palmeiro gets back. B.J. Surhoff with 2 away in the 6th. 0 for 2.
B.J. Surhoff's talking to himself. That's such a good pickoff move. I think B.J. thought Pettit was coming home with a throw to first base.
Pettit has already picked off 2 base runners this year as Surhoff singles to right. Palmeiro holds up at second. So again, the Orioles with a couple of runners on base with 2 outs. They loaded the bases with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Well, we were talking also about you got a left-handed hitter up, you got a runner at first base. There's a great big hole on the right side because the first base is holding the runner on. And we also talked about B.J. Surhoff. He has been as consistent a player for the Orioles as they've had all year. And he's a guy who is very tough against left-handed pitching because he doesn't commit early. So against Andy Pettit, he didn't give and took that ball through the hole on the right side.
2 men on, 2 outs. Lenny Webster 0 for 2. Orioles not very successful with men on base last night. They were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Back in the 5th inning tonight, Alomar bounced out with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Palmeiro down at second. Surhoff the runner on first. Orioles leading 1-0 on Palmeiro's 9th home run of the season. in the 4th inning. And a called strike, 0-2.
Well, they've gone to the breaking ball. That's what you call a backdoor curveball. When people say, what do you mean by backdoor? It means it's a curveball that you dump over the outside part of the plate. An example, left-hander to a right-hander will just spin it over the outside part of the plate, and that was a nasty curveball by Andy Pettitte. Basically the same pitch, downer curveball that he threw to Ripken for the strikeout. Now they got a couple pitches to play with here. Girardi and Pettitte do.
The 0-2. Pettitte just misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's interesting how they're working now. That was a curveball low and in. They had thrown a curveball low and away. Now they went low and in. Now they also run what we call a cutter, which is a fastball he turns a little bit in at the letters, up in the zone a little bit inside.
The 1-2 from Pettitte. High and tight, 2-2.
That was the cutter. You see Joe Girardi setting it up. He gets antsy. Now there'll be somebody in the dugout for the Orioles or both sides of the plate watching the catcher. So the catcher has to be very careful how he moves his feet. If he starts showing too early which way he's going, he can be giving pitches away. So Joe Girardi, as we mentioned earlier, is waiting to the last minute. There's a set of signs.
Well, Pettitte, who was ahead 0-2, now falls behind 3-2. And is 1 pitch away from loading the bases for the 2nd consecutive inning.
Well, here's Joe sliding way, and he wants to make sure this is way, and this is another cutter. So now their sequence has been they threw 2 curveballs, 1 outside, 1 low and in, and then 2 cutters inside. Now it's 3-2. Let's see where they go.
Runners going, and Webster passes it to the 3rd baseman. Rushes across to Swaim, and that does it for the Orioles in the 6th. They strand 2 and still lead the Yankees 1-0.
The Tax Time Blues. Four- and 5-star tax-free bond funds from American Century. Just call. Thank you. 1-800-660-0092.
I have to call home.
What's wrong?
I need to check in on Bobby. Bobby?
Hey, Dad.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Did you mow the lawn?
No.
Yes!
Introducing the smooth riding Kubota TG lawn tractor. Don't be surprised if you get attached to it.
Dad, I gotta go. Something's burning.
Whatever. Bye-bye.
Let me tell you something about heroes. They ain't like you and me. Look at Griffey, the way he taps the spikes and grows the tee, punches the glove and flips the lid, signs the hat, eats the dirt, and twirls the lumber, warms it up and works the crowd. The way he holds the pose, slams the wall, anticipates, and always thanks his mother. Let me tell you about guys like him. They ain't just playing stick.
This is Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. with Reality Bat for Infinite Swings. It's only on N64, only on Nintendo Sports.
1-0 lead for the Orioles as we move to the bottom half of the 6th inning from Yankee Stadium, and American Century Mutual Funds presents the play of the century. Some sports writers and critics call it the record with an asterisk. Yankee outfielder Roger Maris chases the legacy of Babe Ruth up until the final game of the 1961 season. With the game scoreless, Maris takes Tracy Stowler deep and into the record books. The only man to hit 61 home runs in the regular season. Roger Maris of the Yankees back in 1961. Babe Ruth, of course, hit his 60 home runs in 1927. Maris's plaque in Monument Park in left center field here at Yankee Stadium.
Boy, what an accomplishment that was. Roger Maris's hair started falling out as he was chasing the record. Can you imagine chasing the legend in the same pinstripes in the house that Ruth built? It had to be awful tough.
Joe Girardi, a 1-1 count, grounded out his only time up back in the 3rd inning. It was expected that Jorge Posada would take over as the #1 catcher for the Yankees by next season, but that schedule has moved up a bit. A rare start tonight for Girardi. Posada received a lot of credit following the perfect game pitched by David Wells on Sunday afternoon. Wells shook off Posada only twice.
Well, I think the catcher should get a lot of credit for the perfect game.
I figured you would. As one who has caught multiple no-hitters.
Well, I was very fortunate to catch the great Sandy Koufax. It wouldn't have mattered what signal I put down. They all worked. But for a youngster, and talking to David Wells today coming into the ballpark, what a thrill it was for him. Can you imagine what a thrill it was for young Posada here at Yankee Stadium?
Strike call, 3-2.
David Wells is a great story, too. He's just a real free spirit. Joe Torre might describe him otherwise. You know, this guy has been a trial for the managers that he played for. But he's a good competitor, boy. He's a tough, tough pitcher.
And Girardi with the Yankees' second base hit of the game. Both have deflected off an infielder's glove. This time, Alomar got a piece of it. Knobloch and the Yankees' first hit, leading off the first, and it deflected off the glove of the shortstop, Borden. Well, we talked about Maris and his 61 home runs. This season, Mark McGwire of the Cardinals has already reached 20. He hit 3 against the Phillies on Monday night.
And one was farther than the other. This was unbelievable. He just kept tattooing in the upper deck. I mean, it's just amazing what this guy can do.
McGwire had the next night off. Gary Gaetti took his place as the Cardinals' first baseman, and Gaetti hit a pair of home runs. He said, maybe I've been playing the wrong position all these years. So the Yankees with the leadoff man on. Here's Swaim looking for his first hit of the season. He's 0 for 11, starting in place of Tino Martinez tonight. Luis Sojo was the Yankees' first baseman last night. McGwire with 20, and this, of course, prior to today. We saw earlier Jose Canseco with a pair in the American League. Canseco now with 16 home runs. Those were the National League leaders. McGwire on top with 20. Nearly 1/3 of the way there.
That's amazing. And we just looked at just a strategy right there. The Orioles thought there might have been a hit and run on. Now, Joe Girardi is a guy who can steal bases. He's a catcher who a couple years ago stole 13 bases, I believe, for the Yankees. But I think Ray Miller was thinking, well, the Yankees are trying to force the issue a little bit here. They might try something like a hit and run. Because, as you mentioned, Swaim does not have a hit. And he has been a bench player. He's been a good player. Now, last year, of course, he had a good year. Playing for Pittsburgh, he had 261. He had 12 home runs. He's got some pop in his bat. But it's tough playing ever so seldom. 10 at-bats in a season is not easy for anyone when you get them once a week.
Oh, a nice play, but Borden could not handle the wild toss from Alomar. Everybody's safe.
Now, this would have been a sensational play. Robbie Alomar missed the ball going to his left that Girardi hit, and now with this ball, he ranges way over behind second base, backhands the ball, and then around his back, but it kind of catches in his hand, and he throws it too high. And Girardi hustling to second. He should have been sliding on that play because he almost came off the base. See how he almost came off the base, and they could have called him out afterwards. But here's the play. Would have been a sensational play, but the feed was a little high.
So an error on the toss charged to Alomar, his 4th of the season. And the Yankees with 2 men on, nobody out. Top of the order, Knobloch punts it down the third base line. And Ripken throws it away.
Two things happened in this play. It was a perfect bunt. This is like a base hit bunt, and Knobloch is so good at it. Ripken feels the ball because Knobloch can run so well. The throw and Knobloch and the second baseman come together at the same time at first base. And it's one of those strange plays. Here comes this perfect bunt. Here's Ripken throwing the ball, trying to hit Alomar on the run. But the runner and the ball and Alomar were getting to first base at the same time. I've seen some of the worst injuries in baseball on that play.
Only the second error of the season committed by Ripken. 2 Oriole errors here in the 6th. The Yankees have tied it. Still nobody out. Runners on second and third. Swain down at third base. Knobloch, the runner on second. And Jeter bounces it foul to the left side.
But Kenny, how important is defense? How important is defense? The first ball that Joe Girardi hit barely got past Robbie Alomar at second base. Then Alomar makes an error at second base, keeps the inning going with no outs, 2 runners on. Then a perfect bunt. Cal Ripken's throw and the runner arrive at the same time. There's another error. And look where you are. Now, what has Scott Erickson done wrong? Nothing.
Ball has barely left the infield. Here in the 6th inning. The leadoff single by Girardi off the glove of the second baseman Alomar and rolled into right, but that has been it. As Jeter stays alive, Orioles coming in have committed only 26 errors on the season, 4th fewest in the American League, but they commit 2 here in the 6th inning.
Well, it's interesting to see the defensive lineup now, or setup, that Ray Miller has his infield in. He's got the third baseman and first baseman basically in. The second baseman's halfway and the shortstop back a little bit. And you wonder what that does. Normally you think either everybody plays up or you play back in the middle and you give up the run. But Ray Miller can't do that. His ball club is not scoring much. He's going to try to cut the run off, and that's awful tough to bring an infield up in 3 parts of it with none out and 2 runners on. A ball gets through and 2 runs score. A lot of managers will change their strategy, especially when you have 2 strikes on the hitter. You might pull the infield up a little bit. But Derek Jeter is such a hot hitter. He can put the ball in play by insiding out the ball.
Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 7 for Erickson. That ties his season high.
Well, that was a nasty fastball right on the hands. And Scott Erickson has decided he's going to do it himself. He better not let anybody else hit the ball in the infield. Now, the infield is still set up the same way. The corners are basically up. In the middle, they're halfway. I don't know if they're trying to fool Willie Randolph with that setup, saying I better not send a runner with them playing halfway.
Here's Paul O'Neill 0 for 2 so far tonight. Yankees with 2 men on. Swain, the runner, on third base. Knobloch down at second. 1 run in on 1 hit and 2 Oriole errors here in the 6th inning. The first on a wild toss by Alomar, and then a throwing error committed by Ripken. And O'Neill fouls it off into the left field stands, 1-1.
Well, we just had a great shot of O'Neill's face. You talk about concentration and an idea what you want to do. He was almost talking to himself. You could see his mouth moving. He was looking for a certain pitch, and I think he got it. He was looking for a sinker out over the plate, and he was right on it and shot it down the left field line. Now, the last time up, they pitched him very hard in. They kept trying to get him down and in. He chased a bad ball his first time up, striking out. Now they're going back away.
Set swing, and third base umpire Dale Ford says strike 2.
Paul is mad at himself here, and he's angry that he did not hold up on this swing, that he went after a bad ball. But the umpires in his check swing are almost always right on the money, and yeah, it looked like he was angry with the umpire. He's more angry with himself than he is the umpire on that.
Batting .370 with runners in scoring position. That time Erickson misses 2-2.
Boy, that's a tough pitch to lay off. But when you're a hitter and you got runners in scoring position, they got 2 strikes on you, you're up there trying to protect that plate. Remember, the plate's 17 inches wide, but you better make sure that you can cover about 18 inches just in case the ball is just off the plate.
The 2-2, and Erickson strikes out O'Neill. Second consecutive K for Erickson as he looks to work out of a jam. Now 2 outs and 2 men on for Bernie Williams.
Scott Erickson is pitching one heck of a game. This is a breaking ball that he gets down in the strike zone. Little off speed, 82 miles an hour as opposed to the 90s. And that is a heck of a pitch. And Paul O'Neill cannot hold up. But it's not over yet. This is one of the things I always warned our pitchers about when I was managing or coaching. You got the 2 toughest outs with a runner on less than 2 outs at third base, but don't let up. If you're Erickson now, you can't let up. You got a real good hitter at the plate in Bernie Williams.
Strike 1 called. Williams 0 for 2, struck out his last time up. Erickson with 8 strikeouts. His career best is 10. And the Yankees 0 for 4 tonight with runners in scoring position. 2 men on. Swain down at third base. Knobloch, the runner on second. That is where they were with nobody out. Erickson has struck out 2 in a row. Williams to the shortstop, Bordick. And that will do it for the Yankees in the 6th. They tie the score, but Erickson works out of a jam. Orioles commit 2 errors, including 1 by Ripken.
Chevy is an expert in sport utility vehicles, but we know one size does not fit all. So we make 3. Take Chevy Blazer, driver control system, great look inside and out, and it's big. If you want more room, look at Chevy Tahoe. It's even bigger. And then there's Chevy Suburban. It's the biggest SUV on the planet. Big, bigger, biggest. Chevy's the only one with 3 SUVs, each one a perfect fit. Shop Chevy now.
I am the red clay of Roland Garros. I've conquered champions and crushed their foes. I take away power. I control the pace. I challenge wits and confuse the chase. Feet feel my pull. Muscles get sore. Ball feels my weight. Crowd cheers for more. I am the red clay. Hear me roar. The French Open.
A million people have Parkinson's disease with 50,000 new cases each year. There's no cure, but there is treatment and hope. It's you. On Sunday, May 31st, the Pedal for Parkinson's Bike-a-thon will raise money to help knock out this disabling disease. Bike from the Art Museum or Rosemont Station. Check local merchants for entry forms or call 215-546-9004. Anyone can get Parkinson's. On May 31st, everyone can help beat it.
David Wells, who spent the 1996 season with the Orioles, this past Sunday afternoon became only the 2nd Yankee to pitch a perfect game here at Yankee Stadium. The first, of course, Don Larson in the 1956 World Series.
Oh, that's exciting. I've been part of a perfect game. Sandy Koufax's in 1965. That is an overwhelming feeling when that game is over.
Wells turned 35 years of age yesterday, and he will pitch again on Saturday in Boston. Wells has retired 37 consecutive batters, 10 in his previous start prior to the perfect game. And the Major League record, 41 consecutive batters retired by Jim Barr of the Giants back in 1972. Wells perfect on Sunday against the Twins. Struck out 11. And Bordick hits this one in the air to left. Chad Curtis is under it. One away, and the Orioles 7th.
No, it's amazing when you think about it. Of course, Andy Pettitte has pitched a very good ball game himself. But Scott Erickson has been nearly perfect. And it, you know, he's a sinker ball type pitcher, and yet with all the strikeouts he's had, his outstanding defensive infield is letting him down a little bit, and it's a tie game. But it's, you know, that's when teams are struggling, that's what happens. Nothing seems to work, and if you expect something to happen, sure enough it will, because you yourself will make it happen.
Curveball misses for ball one. Brady Anderson 1 for 3, singled his last time up. Erickson has allowed 1 unearned run on 2 hits through 6. 1-1.
You know, it's interesting to see Scott Erickson sitting there. His head is down. It looks like he's really concentrating. And before we thought maybe he'd hurt himself because he had a towel wrapped around his hand, but I guess he just likes to keep his hand warm. You know, that a pitcher likes that feeling of the warmth in his hand because that's a touch thing when you go out to pitch. How the ball sinks is how it feels coming off your fingers.
And Anderson bunts it, held the first base line, and is tagged out by Swain. But a little too much on it. What a way. Now check that 2 away now in the 7th. Well, Jeff, this Saturday, FX Baseball Saturday, you and I head west to Seattle. It'll be the Mariners and the Devil Rays this Saturday on FX Baseball Saturday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. And ironically, as we sit here tonight and watch the Orioles, a pair of second-year pitchers who grew up in Baltimore, both Oriole fans as youngsters. Ken Cloud will be on the mound for the Mariners, and Tony Saunders for the Devil Rays.
The Devil Rays have done a tremendous job for an expansion team so far this year. In fact, the Orioles can attest to that. The Orioles were swept at home by the Devil Rays.
Saunders pitched in the game on Sunday. Swept in a 4-game series by the Devil Rays, and they've lost the first 2 here in New York. 7 consecutive losses. They were leading the Indians 4-3 1 week ago tonight when Mike Messina was hit by the line drive. And they have not won a game since then. As Hammonds grounds out to the shortstop, Jeter. 7th inning stretch time from Yankee Stadium. Tied at 1. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, let's take a look at what's coming your way tonight on Fox Sports News following the game. For that, we take you to the Fox Network Center.
Sony PlayStation presents this Fox Sports News Sports Break.
Along with John Walls, I'm Lionel Bienvenu of Fox Sports News with this Sports Break. Ismael Valdez helped the Dodgers avoid a sweep at the hands of the Cubs at Wrigley Field. 7-3 was the final.
And Kirk Reeder had a 1-hitter through 8 innings as the Giants down the Brewers 8-1. News scores and highlights nightly on Fox Sports News.
It's all right here on Fox Sports Net.
Gary Sheffield, outstanding bat speed. Pull the ball with the best of them.
The secret to MLB 99's realism? Scouting reports straight from the pros.
Favorite cheese Gouda. Bobby Bonilla, weakness for fastballs in the dirt. Has a dog named Snacks.
That's impressive.
I knew that. You drive a 71 Nova, make $22,000 a year, and you were a bedwetter.
Hey, better.
PlayStation.
Confronting the classic paradigm. As this matrix diagram shows, supported assimilation would be the process of aligning risk assessment protocol implied built-in system redundancy. These slides show plan, do, check, take action. It illustrates how tactical implementation and follow-up are key to assessing the viability. I'm sorry, I have to leave.
The Mitsubishi G100 wireless phone. Make something happen.
Manager Ray Miller and the Orioles suffering through a tough stretch. And 2 Baltimore errors in the bottom of the 6th led to the Yankees' run.
And that's one of their strengths. And of course, you've got a sinker ball pitcher needing the help on the ball that he gets into the hit into the ground, or even in that situation bunted, and he didn't get any help. That's why this game is tied.
And Jim Raines leads it off for the Yankees in the bottom of the 7th. Raines 0 for 2 tonight. And there's Ripken, who committed the throwing error. 28 errors on the season for the Orioles, 4th fewest in the American League. So that has not been one of the problem spots up until tonight. Remember, it was Raines who hit the home run immediately following the brawl on Tuesday night. Bernie Williams gave the Yankees a 6-5 lead. And then Raines extended it against former Yankee Bobby Munoz. 2-1. Bottom of the 7th inning. Beautiful evening at Yankee Stadium, tied at 1. The Orioles scored their run in the 4th on a solo homer by Rafael Palmeiro. Scott Erickson has allowed only 2 Yankee hits. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
One of the reasons the Yankees are so resilient are, of course, the personality of their club and their manager and their coaching staff. But also, what's very important is they have a very strong bench. And with Darryl Strawberry and Tim Raines, they were able to overcome the loss of Chili Davis, who they signed to be their DH, and they don't even skip a beat.
Strawberry, of course, not available tonight, serving the 2nd of his 3-game suspension as Erickson strikes out Raines, and Scott Erickson with 9 strikeouts, 1 shy of tying his career best.
We said early in this game that he had almost no-hitter stuff, and here's with 2 strikes. Look at this breaking ball go straight down. That is a nasty pitch. Scott Erickson has always been acknowledged to have just a biting sinker ball and a real nasty slider, but he's added to that downer breaking ball, and he's kept the ball down.
Here's Chad Curtis, 0 for 1, walked and stole second his last time up. Erickson has struck out 10 only once in his career, May of '94, ironically, against the Orioles, when he was still with the Minnesota Twins. 9 strikeouts tonight, only 1 walk. 2 base hits allowed, and 2 Yankees reached on errors.
Kenny, there was a pitch you're not going to see much from Scott Erickson. That was a high-riding fastball. He might have gone across the seams to run one up there, or it got away from him. Normally, you're going to see his ball sinking down in the zone, not up in the strike zone.
1-1 to Curtis, who lifts it into right. On the run is Hammonds, and he makes the catch. 2 away.
Now, Scott Erickson's a big guy, but see how balanced he is over the rubber. He tucks his leg in, and now before he heads to the plate, he gathers over his back leg. And as you see, every pitcher pronates with their hand, turns it over. Well, he gets the ball with the seams and finishes up. That's why, with the kind of torque he gets on the ball, he gets it to sink.
And that was only the 3rd fly ball out induced by Erickson tonight.
And that was a hanging breaking ball, and so was this one. But this is a hanger. See? No, that's the good one. Excuse me. There's a high rider, and there's the hanger right in the middle of the plate. And because the sinker is so good, it slowed up Curtis's bat, so he could not pull that hanging curveball, and he hit it to right center field. So in that sequence, you saw a downer curveball, a high riding fastball, and then a hanging curveball. But because his fastball is so hard, it makes his breaking stuff effective.
Boy, Erickson giving the Orioles exactly what they need tonight with Mike Messina on the disabled list. The first time Messina was on the DL, Orioles went 5-10, and they are 0-7 since he was hit by the line drive last Thursday.
It's amazing, isn't it? When you have a top gun who's at the top of your pitching rotation, and he's out of there, it hurts everybody's role.
Grounded foul to the left side.
Now add to that what happened to the Orioles when you compare him to last year. Randy Myers, their closer, was not re-signed. So that changed all the roles in their bullpen as well. So it's just like a starter who is the guy who's your stopper. Your stopper in the bullpen can change the roles too. And so this pitching staff that had been rated number 2 in the league last year is now 10th.
The 1-2 bounced in front of the plate. Erickson off the mound. And he throws out Brocious. 1-2-3 inning for Scott Erickson. Tied at 1 after 7.
This is Imagine TV.
Let's go to the big screen.
This May, tune in during Mercury's Imagine TV event and catch the action-packed Mercury Mountaineer with an all-star cast and $1,975 in total savings. And on every critically acclaimed Mercury Villager, get $2,200 cash back or low 1% financing up to 48 months, even on the new multi-sport Villager, while supplies last.
This just in. Cougar loose on the streets of the city.
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Homecoming queens with a twinkle in their eye. RC Cola and the 4th of July. It's a choice we're given. It's the life we're living. Ride on the freedoms, clear blue sky.
It's as basic as red, white, and blue. The freedom to choose the taste that's right for you. It doesn't get more American than that. So be free. Drink RC.
Comcast Sportsnet is the regional leader in breaking the most up-to-the-minute sports news. If it happens in Philadelphia sports, you'll be the first to know. Thanks to the network that brings it to you first. Comcast Sportsnet, your sports network.
With McLaren continuing to dominate, the battle for the championship is heating up. Now, the war goes to the French Riviera, where Schumacher must win to stay alive. The Monaco Grand Prix, Sunday at 4 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Fox Sportsnet Baseball Thursday coming to you from the Big Apple, and we are just north, about 120 blocks north of Times Square. Scott Erickson enjoying his evening. Orioles and the Yankees tied at 1 as we head to the 8th.
Boy, has he done a heck of a job. And as he comes off the field after each inning, he looks almost like he goes through a yoga routine. He takes a deep breath, closes his eyes, and relaxes, covers his right hand. But, boy, very, very intent.
And for the Orioles here in the 8th, Alomar, Palmeiro, and Carter. Roberto Alomar leads it off. He is 0 for 3 tonight. 3 ground ball outs. Andy Pettitte has allowed only 1 run as well. The 4th inning homer by Palmeiro. 1 run on 6 hits for the Orioles. 1 run on 2 hits for the Yankees. Yankees head on the road for 6 following tonight's game. 3 in Boston, 3 in Chicago. While the Orioles continue their 8-game road trip. 3 in Oakland and then 2 in Seattle. 3 balls, no strikes. The count on Alomar.
All of a sudden, Andy Pettitte doesn't look very sharp. 3 balls in a row. 2 of the last 3 pitches have been up in the strike zone. Didn't look like they had much on them.
Strike called, 3-1.
And I think with that, Nel Stottlemyre jumped on the phone, and the bullpen starting to move around out there.
Alomar singles into left as it bounces in front of Chad Curtis. So a leadoff single in the 8th. You saw Mike Stanton get up in the Yankees bullpen. The Stanley Cup playoffs continue on Fox this Sunday afternoon. Game 1 of the Western Conference Final between the Detroit Red Wings, the defending Stanley Cup champions, and the Dallas Stars. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals of the NHL this Sunday on Fox. The Eastern Conference Finals get underway on Saturday night with the Washington Capitals hosting the Buffalo Sabres. There's Roberto Alomar with the Orioles' 7th hit of the game. And here's Palmeiro. A homer and a single. His last 2 times up. Breaking out of a 5 for 28 slump.
Well, this is a situation in the past you might concern yourself with Robbie Alomar running. But you have a combination of things in this equation that don't look like you might want him to run. Number 1, you got a left-handed pitcher in Pettitte with a great pickoff move. A catcher who throws well in Girardi. There's that good move. That's that move where the move of the left-handed pitcher, his right leg goes halfway between first base and home plate. You're supposed to step toward first, and it can be a very close borderline step that makes a left-hander like Pettitte have such a great move. The other part of the equation, you got a left-handed hitter up with a hole at first base. You might not want to take that away for him.
Strike called, 0-1. Back in the 4th inning with 2 men out. Palmeiro took Pettitte deep to right field. And that gave the Orioles a 1-0 lead. We are now tied at 1 in the 8th. The 0-1 to Palmeiro. Strike called, 0-2.
You know, we were talking about Andy Pettitte and Joe Girardi were pitching a lot of right-handers in. Well, now, because Palmeiro has hit a couple balls out over the plate, his home run was on a hanging curveball. Now they're pounding him inside. Now you see his hit zone where that breaking ball was right in that area in the middle of the plate, that red zone, breaking right down in that. Now they're thinking about pounding him in.
The 0-2 from Pettit. It breaks outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, actually what they did, they set him up by working the ball inside. Then they tried to get him to chase a curveball way away. Now, indelibly imprinted on a pitcher's mind is where that ball was that Palmeiro hit for a home run before. Andy Pettit will see that, you know, in his nightmares for a couple nights. So he won't throw that there if he can help it again.
Nelson and Stanton in the Yankee bullpen. Tight, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Joe Girardi wanted that, but because he jumped up to get in position to see where the runner was, Robbie Alomar at first base, I think that pitch was a borderline high pitch anyway, but when a catcher jumps like that, sometimes the umpire loses sight of the ball. And Joe, being the veteran, he might have jumped knowing it was borderline and trying to get it for his pitcher.
Pettit again over to first. Souvenir, Jeff? I'll buy it. Okay. The 2-2 pitch. Again, high and inside. For a full count on Palmeiro. With Alomar, the runner, on first base, and nobody out. Top of the 8th in a 1-1 game with Joe Carter waiting on deck.
Now here's where you got to make a decision as the manager whether you want to try to run in this situation. 3-2 count. Pitcher left-hander with a good move. We'll see what Ray Miller wants Robbie Alomar to do.
Alomar bluffed, and Palmeiro fouls it off down the first base line.
Well, the last thing you want to have happen here, where you're trying, you think you got a rally going, Sammy Perlazo at third base giving the signs, is get picked off in a situation like this. And the pitch count's getting a little high for Andy Pettit. 110 at this point. Now, they're probably Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre going 1 hitter at a time here with him.
Palmeiro bounced it to the right side. Swain dove but could not make the play. Consecutive base hits for Alomar and Palmeiro. Orioles with first and second, and nobody out. And it's time for another Fox Sports Net game break from Kansas City. Juan Dunston hits his first home run of the year off Jose Rosado. A 6-0 lead for the Cleveland Indians over the Royals in the top of the 5th inning. And here at Yankee Stadium, top of the 8th, Orioles won and the Yankees won. Kenny Albert along with Jeff Torborg. Back-to-back base hits for Baltimore. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. Roberto Alomar down at second. Rafael Palmeiro on at first base. Joe Carter 1 for 3 tonight. And he fouls off the first pitch from Andy Pettit. 0-1.
Now, if you were in a different part of the order, down in the order more, you would see a bunt here ordered by Ray Miller to get runners over to second and third. But not in this situation. When you've got a power hitter like Joe Carter hitting 5th in your order, you don't ask him to bunt. I'm not so sure Joe's bunted in the last 10 years in the major leagues, so you don't ask somebody to do something he's not been done before. But I've seen Ripken bunt before, so Ray Miller's going for they're going to try to score a couple more runs than just what they might be thinking about from a bunt situation. Of course, when you manage a lot of times, you go for one, you end up getting a bundle. But again, as a manager, you don't ask a hitter to do something that he hasn't done.
Carter only 2 runs batted in his last 17 games, both coming via solo home runs. There's Alomar on second. Pettit wanted that one. Now 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, he's just missing on balls on the inside part of the plate. They thought Andy Pettitte and Joe Girardi before thought they had Rafael Palmeiro struck out on a ball that was inside, but was not quite there. I think they were looking at it with their hearts. I think it was a good call by Ted Hendry. And that pitch there to Joe Carter was inside also.
The 2-1 from Pettitte. Knobloch backpedaling. Coming on is O'Neill, and Knobloch makes the catch. So one away here in the 8th as Carter pops out. As we take a look at the hit sequence to Joe Carter.
Well, there's 2 or 3 in a row inside, and that ball just fooled him. That ball was down in the strike zone over the plate a little bit, and Joe was committed a little early and popped it up. And we mentioned before also that Andy Pettitte and Girardi had switched their approach to pitching to Cal Ripken. They were pounding him inside after he hit a ball, a screamer through the middle of the first at bat.
Ripken 1 for 3. Takes strike 1. He singled his first time up. Orioles with 2 men on and 1 out in the 8th. Tied at 1. Finale of a 3-game series. Orioles looking to break a 7-game losing streak. Their last 8-game losing streak back in August of '93. The 0-1 to Ripken. Grounded foul. 0-2.
Well, right where they were the last at bat when they struck Cal out, they struck him out on a curveball. They got to this situation and they threw a downer curveball that Cal swung over the top of. You know, I sit here and watch Cal Ripken hitting in this situation. You wonder how many times has he faced the Yankees in Yankee Stadium over his career in this type of situation, and how many times has he produced?
Will he this time? 0-2. 1 out. Pettitte to the plate. And again, Ripken fouls it off to the left side.
Well, that's Ray Miller giving signs to Sam Perlaza. There won't be any running on in this situation. But you have to continue to give all these signs. Well, look at this. I asked for it and I got it. Look what he's done at Yankee Stadium. 278, 11 home runs, 44 RBIs. Not bad. Boy, he's been up there enough, hasn't he? 105 games.
Inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You see Ray Miller and Mike Flanagan. Of course, Flanagan pitched for Ray when Ray was a pitching coach for the Orioles the first time around. Mike was a Cy Young Award winner. There aren't too many smiles or a lot of tight jaws on that bench. They're not happy. 7 losses in a row will do that.
1-2 to Ripken, and he stays alive. He's fouled off 4 in a row.
And they've all been inside. It's interesting how Joe Girardi has really shifted his game plan. Early in the game, he was pitching out over the plate. Now, that's interesting why you do that. We talked earlier about the fact that Andy Pettitte had to get ahead of hitters. He hadn't been doing that lately. The place to get ahead of hitters is low and away. Now, here is signs. And there's a sequence of signs predetermined because there's a runner at second.
Off-speed pitch, and Pettitte strikes out Ripken.
Kenny, that's the same pitch he struck him out on in the 6th inning. That's that curveball. When he gets ahead after he's been pounding him hard in, he's fouled it off. He throws this downer curveball. It's the identical pitch to the previous at bat. Look at this. Boy, is that a nice breaking ball.
Ripken only 6 of 26 lifetime against Pettitte. He struck out his last 2 at-bats here tonight. So now 2 away, runners on first and second. Here's B.J. Surhoff. Singled his last time up.
Now, we were talking about B.J. before. You look at this stance. He's spread out. He doesn't have this big swing. He's not one of these guys that really gets back on that back leg and swings big. Now, that was a terrible-looking swing he just took. You see his hit zone. You can get him out up and in. You can make him chase the ball way down and away, but he's hot over the plate. It's because he doesn't commit too often. He can look bad on one swing and hit you very well on the next pitch.
Foul down the first base line, 0-2. So Pettit will out back-to-back singles. Alomar and Palmeiro has retired Carter and Ripken. And now an 0-2 count on Sherhoff.
Well, as a catcher, when you get to this count, now you've got a couple pitches to play with. In other words, you can go way away with a breaking ball and make sure your pitcher throws it 6 to 8 inches off the plate, or you can run a ball back inside, whatever you'd like to do here. And that's what Girardi did. They came back inside, and that's what he's been doing in the second part of this game. He's made an adjustment, and that's Andy Pettit I'm speaking about pitching hard in. Now, after showing the ball in, then they like to go back out away with an off-speed breaking ball.
Back-to-back singles, and then Pettit closes out the 8th with back-to-back strikeouts. They remain tied at 1, middle of the 8th from Yankee Stadium.
Watching TV shouldn't split up the family. That's where HBO Family comes in. It's an exciting new channel that's free when you subscribe to HBO. It's commercial-free programming, 24 hours a day, and there's never an R rating. HBO Family brings everyone together.
I can't believe this. I've got this really hot date in 30 minutes, and right before I walk in here, my heel pops off. I mean, how am I going to get this fixed in 30 minutes? Does anybody know? Does anybody care?
Easy. You could put an eye out with that thing. The shoe breaks, you get a new one, you throw the old one out. End of story.
Not in 30 minutes. A hot date and no shoes does not make an ideal combination.
Looks like you're going barefoot.
Experience in Philadelphia.com now.
When I was a kid, I remember going to the Boys and Girls Club. There was this one teacher,
That's great, Frank.
Miss Franklin. She always encouraged me,
Right. Come on, Frank. You can do it.
especially when it came to baseball. It was a great experience.
There you go.
That's why I'm glad I can give something back to the Boys and Girls Club, especially to Miss Franklin.
Come on, Miss Franklin, you can do it. Come on. Here we go. Let's make this play.
Major League Baseball charities and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, giving kids a world of opportunities.
Orioles won and the Yankees won as we move to the bottom of the 8th. Well, Jeff and I will return to Yankee Stadium 1 week from tonight for the Yankees and the Red Sox. A classic rivalry. Some of you will see the Arizona Diamondbacks take on Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants. That's next Thursday, Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net. New York and Boston next Thursday, 1 and 2 in the American League East. Bottom of the 8th, Yankees and Orioles deadlocked at 1. Joe Girardi, who got things started in the 6th when he singled off the glove of Alomar, came around to score the Yankees' only run. And a nice stab by Ripken at third, and he throws him out.
This was a very nice defensive play by Cal Ripken. Remember, third base is so different than the shortstop that he used to play where he had a lot of room. Now he's playing up on the grass because he's protected against the bunt. Now see how he reacts? Third base is so different. Third base is almost a step and a dive and react. It's a quick reaction. Whole different position than shortstop, and he has made that adjustment.
Here's Dale Swaim. 0 for 2, reached on an error. Ripken struck out his last 2 times up, including in the top of the 8th. How does a player separate, as a former player, Jeff, the frustrations at the plate and then go out and make a play like Ripken did on the field?
Well, it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. You know that you can help your club just as much out in the field. And the true pro goes out there and he just focuses on what he's supposed to do next.
1-1 to Swaim. Now 1-2. Swaim 0 for 12 on the season. Starting in place of the injured Tino Martinez tonight.
You know, Cal Ripken was such a good shortstop, and everybody used to say he was always in the right spot at shortstop. Now he switches to third, and the same is true there. He's just got a great instinct for the game. Of course, his dad was a lifelong baseball man, managed the Orioles, third base coach for many years. Brother Billy still playing, injured right now with the Tiger organization, but
off the glove of Bordick. Big turn around first. So Dale Swaim reaches base once again.
Excuse me, Kenny, this is a very strange play. Now, it's a left-handed hitter in Swaim hitting the ball inside out. It looked like the ball sliced on Bordick. He broke, and it looked like the ball hooked behind him a little bit. A kind of a surprising play, but that's what happens if the swing is different, if you come inside the ball. Now watch this. Here's the pitch, and you see Swaim slices it, and the ball goes backwards. It kind of back slices away from Bordick the other way.
Here's Chuck Knobloch, who takes ball one. First hit of the season for Dale Swaim.
Yeah.
He had been 0 for 12. And how about this? All 3 Yankee base hits tonight off the glove of an Oriole infielder. All 3 Yankee hits.
Yeah, that really shows how effective Scott Erickson has been. He has just been tremendous. What a game he's pitched.
Knobloch leans away, and the crowd reacts.
Well, that's good for the Yankees. He's certainly not going to hit anybody in this situation if he can help it, but it gets the blood going. When a home crowd starts going, it really gets people wheeling and dealing. You have to pitch Knobloch inside to get him out, and that ball just keeps running right at him. But Scott Erickson in the past has kind of come apart at times if he's had bad defense behind him or had some problems behind him. And a lot of sinker ballers do, because you make the best pitch you can, and the next thing you know, even though guys hit the ball on the ground, your team has not fielded the ball well.
Tino Martinez, who was hit by the pitch on Tuesday night. Strike called, 2-1.
Well, Tino Martinez really got crushed. He got hit right between the numbers in the back. I saw him before the game tonight with his shirt off. He's got some wealth. But here's a nice, this is a sinker ball that comes back on the plate from Erickson. He's had as good a sinker ball tonight as you could possibly ever have.
1 out. Swaim, the runner on first. Scott Erickson pitching into the 8th. 110 pitches. He has already thrown 3 complete games this season. Orioles with 4. Erickson has 3. Messina the other. Swaim is going. And it's fouled off by Knobloch. 2-2.
Kenny, we talked before about what balance the Yankee lineup has, the Yankee team has. Joe Torre can do that with just about anybody in the lineup. They can hit and run because they'll protect the runner. They can run because they have team speed. They have guys who can put the ball in play. Knobloch is outstanding. Don Zimmer talking. Don Zimmer is the bench coach for Joe Torre. Don, a manager, a lot of different places, San Diego, Boston, Texas, the Cubs. Outstanding baseball man.
Knobloch with a base hit into left field. And the Yankees with 2 men on. And only 1 out. The first clean base hit for the Yankees tonight. The other 3 deflected off Oriole gloves. Yankees batting .300 on the season. Best in the majors.
Now, this is like the old days of the Yankees of the 70s when you used to come into Yankee Stadium and they would put on rallies like this. And all you felt in the other dugout was, here they come, here they come. And this Yankee team, you know, this is somewhat what happened in the 6th inning when Derek Jeter really settled, I should say Scott Erickson really settled down and struck out Jeter and O'Neill. And he's got his work cut out for him again. But as I mentioned just a minute ago, this Yankee lineup can put the ball in play. They don't go up there with big swings and strike out all the time. They'll make adjustments.
So here's Jeter. Grounded into a double play and struck out twice. His 15-game hitting streak is in danger. Yankees at home 15-3. Not much worse on the road, 15-6. One ball, no strikes. Swaim, the runner on second. Knobloch on at first. Good save by Lenny Webster. Arthur Rhodes up in the Oriole bullpen. The Orioles pen has struggled mightily in recent weeks. One away. 2-0 count on Jeter. 3 balls, no strikes.
Well, this is what this young shortstop can do. After having struck out a couple times, he then comes up to the plate. He doesn't get all anxious because there are runners on. He's selective. He's going to be the next all-star around these digs. Now, there's not a whole lot of places that he's cold on.
Only the second walk allowed by Erickson. The bases are loaded.
You know, we're talking about this series was supposed to be such a big series, and then the Orioles had this bad swing. How about next week with the Red Sox coming in here? We have them here Thursday night. They're a club right behind the Yankees. They're playing, if it hadn't been for the Yankees, as good a ball as you'll see in the American League. But here you are back in this situation, and Scott Erickson had to pitch his way out of something like this before, and he got himself out of it. Ray Miller taking the walk to the mound right now. Settle his big right-hander down, but boy, I'll tell you what, they've had to call on this big guy a whole lot tonight to do it by himself. Ray Miller's probably out there talking to everybody. Say, Scott, listen, all you have to do is keep throwing that good sinker, get the ball hit on the ground. Your defense will turn a double play for you. Erickson right now, you look at body language, and there's the bullpen. Alan Mills is the right-hander, Arthur Rose the left-hander, closest to us. But you take a little look at Scott Erickson right now. As Ray Miller was talking to him, his head was down a little bit. You know, he's pitched his heart out, and here he is in deep trouble.
So Paul O'Neill, who signed a 1-year contract extension earlier today, comes to the plate. He is 4 for 6 this season with the bases loaded with 9 runs batted in. Ball 1.
Well, as we saw the Oriole defense, they're set in the middle for the double play. What you do when you shorten up for the double play is come in a little bit and over towards second base so you can turn it. So you see Alomar at second and Bordick at short. They play up a little bit and closer to second so they can turn a double play if they should get a ground ball.
Ground ball to the second baseman, Alomar. The toss to second. Run in time. O'Neill safe at first, and the Yankees take a 2-1 lead.
Well, this ball was hit a little too slow. If they ever make this play, it'd be unbelievable. Paul O'Neill is busting it down that first baseline, but he chops this ball. It's not hit very hard. Nice play by Robbie Alomar, but Bordick can't get as much on the throw as he would like to, and you can see Paul O'Neill hustling, and you can see how happy Dale Swaim is scoring. You know, as a manager, Ray Miller would rather have the ball hit hard at somebody, not a chopper. But the feed pulled Bordick a little bit off to the shortstop side. He couldn't get much on the ball.
Here's Bernie Williams with runners on the corners, 2 outs, and the Yankees have got on top. Ironically, should Erickson retire Williams, but the Orioles then go down in the 9th. It will be the second complete game loss of the season for Scott Erickson.
Well, he has just pitched beautifully. And you're asking him to get the ground ball. He got the ground ball. In fact, he fooled Paul O'Neill enough that he didn't really hit the ball hard. I mean, you couldn't ask any more of a pitcher than what Scott Erickson has given you tonight.
But O'Neill beat the throw at first. And Dale Swain came across to score the Yankees' second run. A new hero every night for the Yankees, and tonight Swain starts the 8th inning rally with a 1-out single and scores the go-ahead run in only his 3rd start of the season.
Well, they're very resilient. They believe they can win now, and when you get in a role like this, you can't do anything wrong. Remember the ball you're talking about, the Swain hit, sliced off of Bordig's glove.
The 1-1 to Williams, base hit right field. Another run scores. 3-1 Yankees. RBI number 23 for Bernie Williams.
Well, Kenny, it's easy to say because we know the kind of record the Yankees had coming in 30-9. Ray Miller going out the mound, but this Yankee team is really loaded, and they're doing everything right.
Tough luck evening for Scott Erickson, who was outstanding tonight. He struck out 9, a season high. The Yankees' first run followed 2 Oriole errors, and that is all for Scott Erickson.
Grady & Son make the sweetest steaks around, the Gazette. Grady & Son's marinade gives their steaks zing, the Gazette. Grady & Son cherish the secret to their tangy marinade, the Gazette.
Our secret is A1 sweet and tangy.
Grady and daughter make the sweetest steaks around, the Gazette. The secret to great steak isn't just for great steakhouses anymore. A1, a marinade, a seasoning, a 136-year-old secret.
Gary Sheffield, outstanding bat speed. Pull the ball with the best of them.
The secret to MLB 99's realism? Scouting reports straight from the pros.
Favorite cheese Gouda. Bobby Bonilla, weakness for fastballs in the dirt. Has a dog named Snacks.
That's impressive.
I knew that.
You drive a 71 Nova, make $22,000 a year, and you were a bedwetter.
Hey, better.
PlayStation.
Fronting the classic paradigm. As this matrix diagram shows, supported assimilation would be the process of aligning risk assessment protocol implied built-in system redundancy. These slides show plan, do, check, take action. It illustrates how tactical implementation and follow-up are key to assessing the viability. I'm sorry, I have to leave.
The Mitsubishi G100 wireless phone. Make something happen.
Scott Erickson exits after 7 2/3. He allowed only 5 Yankee hits. And the Yankees have taken a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning, looking to sweep the Orioles. Coming up after tonight's game on Fox Sports News, a pair of home runs for Jose Canseco, his 15th and 16th of the season. Former teammates Chris Webber and Juwan Howard in the news. And the NBA Conference Finals. That's all coming up following tonight's game on Fox Sports News. Arthur Rhodes, the 28-year-old left-hander, in relief from Scott Erickson.
Rhodes is one of the few guys that's done much out of the bullpen. The bullpen here for the Orioles has been struggling. I mean, they have just been awful lately. And Rhodes at this point has a 2-2 record. His earned run average is .381. This is his 17th appearance. Of course, the last couple of years he was just unbelievable with it. At least the records that he's had. He's been 19-4 over the prior 2 years. But the Oriole bullpen has really gone the pot. Erickson threw 121 pitches in the time that he was in there. He just did a fantastic job. But the Yankees just keep coming.
Orioles bullpen in their last 13 games, 7.5 earned run average as Tim Raines takes ball 1. Of course, the Yankees lead 3-1, so it is not a save situation, but the bullpen has blown 5 consecutive saves. 7 on the season. They blew only 10 saves all of last year. 2 outs in the 8th, 2 runs in for the Yankees. And Raines pops it up. And this this will be out of the reach of Rafael Palmeiro. 1-1.
That was a heck of an effort by Palmeiro. He got way in there, just missed that. Fighting the fans for the ball. Of course, the fans are up there all looking for an autograph, for a ball they get autographed or a souvenir. And the amazing thing is when you think about these Orioles and the Yankees, they have had such great rivalries. I remember I was coaching with the Yankees in 1980. We won 103 games. They won 101, I believe. And 2 years ago, when the Yankees were so effective, the Yankees blew the Orioles away.
They had defeated Baltimore in the ALCS in '96.
Yeah.
Last year, the Orioles won 5 of 6 here at Yankee Stadium. And the Orioles won the division.
Yes. Boy, when you get in a funk, everything's going wrong. I mean, they've lost 7 straight, as you mentioned earlier. They're 10-23 in their last 33 games. That's hard to believe with the kind of pitching staff they have. Usually with a good pitching staff, you don't have big losing streaks. And you can see Arthur Rhodes, hard thrower, missing upstairs to the veteran Tim Raines.
Last year, Orioles won 8 of 12 against the Yankees, including 5 of 6, as we mentioned, here at Yankee Stadium. They've lost the last 2 nights, 9-5, 9-6, and they trail 3-1 here tonight. And a 3-1 count. Ball 4. So Rhodes comes in and walks Raines. And again, the bases are full of Yankees.
This is what I meant about this Yankee team. They are so darn selective at the plate. You know, they're really #1 in on-base percentage in the American League. Not just batting average, on-base percentage. #2 in slugging percentage. It means they're selective, that they don't go chasing the pitcher's pitch, especially when the game's on the line.
Chad Curtis has come to the plate with the bases loaded 5 times this year. As he winds up about halfway down the first base line following that swing.
Well, Chad Curtis, when he was the center fielder for the Angels, he did this. He swung from his rear end. He would swing from his rear end, almost fall down. He was looking for a fastball here, and he got something off speed and almost broke his neck here.
Curtis, 1 career grand slam this year, 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a sacrifice fly with the bases full. 2 outs.
Excuse me, Kenny, I'm sorry. Some guys get very excited when the bases are loaded and they're hitting.
Not that time, but strike is called. No balls, 2 strikes.
I remember Don Mattingly in his early years. You know, here's a great hitter, won the batting title, was an MVP in the American League. When he got the bases loaded, man, he was going to swing at anything that was thrown up there. Thou shalt not pass, you know, anything that got close.
The 0-2 from Rhodes. Misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Orioles' 9th, Webster, Bordick, and Anderson. With the Orioles trailing at 3-1. Yankees with 2 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. And Curtis lifts it in the air to left. Surhoff falls off Anderson. So Curtis flies out with the bases loaded. Last chance for the Orioles. They trail by 2 as we move to the 9th.
Let me tell you something about heroes. They ain't like you and me. Look at Griffey, the way he taps the spikes and grows the teeth, punches the glove and flips the lid, ties the hat, eats the dirt, and twirls the lumber, warms it up and works the crowd. The way he holds the pose, slams the wall, anticipates, and always thanks his mother. Let me tell you about guys like him. They ain't just playing stick.
This is Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. with Reality Bat for Infinite Swings. It's only on N64, only on Nintendo Sports.
I have to call home.
What's wrong?
I need to check in on Bobby. Bobby?
Hey, Dad.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Did you mow the lawn?
No.
Yes!
Introducing the smooth riding Kubota TG lawn tractor. Don't be surprised if you get attached to it.
Dad, I gotta go. Something's burning.
Whatever. Bye-bye.
The world's greatest explorer wasn't available, so they got this guy.
We come in peace!
He's offensive. He's vulgar. He's perfect.
I hope Satan himself burns the flesh from your miserable balls!
Chris Farley.
You know, I've waited years to hear somebody say that.
Matthew Perry. Trust me, the worst is over. They're hitting the road and anything else that gets in their way. Almost Heroes, rated PG-13, starts Friday, May 29th.
Yankees leading the Orioles 3-1 as we head to the ninth. Andy Pettit allowed only 1 run on 8 hits through 8. Now it's Mariano Rivera's turn. Rivera with 8 saves and 10 opportunities this year for the Yankees. And Ray Miller really going at it just in front of the Orioles dugout. Miller jawing with third base umpire Dale Ford.
I don't know what this is all about in this situation. What can this be that got Ray so incensed here? Talking to the crew chief now. That's Drew Coble. But I don't know what got Ray so hot.
Crowd's enjoying it. There goes the water cooler.
Well, you know, whether that's frustration or trying to fire his own team up, but I don't know what it could be, or what the concern could be at that particular point.
There's Eddie Murray in this middle.
Something happened. I don't know whether he was so mad at Dale Ford that maybe he saw him gesture or something. Something upset Ray to the point that he would come out and let it all fly at that point. But you got young Rivera in there who can really throw. This guy is a power pitching short reliever who really can throw. He's got a high riding fastball. He's in the mid-90s. He throws a hard slider with it. Occasional split finger. He's a very good fielder. He's a cat off the mound. He can be run on, but in this situation, you wouldn't worry about that. But what you'll see is a very sneaky, slow delivery, and his fastball explodes up in the strike zone.
Lenny Webster will lead it off for the Orioles here in the ninth. Webster is 0 for 3 tonight. Crowd starts to chant sweep. Yankees have won the first 2. Rivera 12 appearances, 8 saves, and you see the ERA 0.64.
And you see 0 walks for a power pitcher coming in short relief. That's saying something.
0-2.
You know what's so amazing about this guy? If you watch his delivery, he's not a big guy. He's lean, but he's got a very loose whip-like arm. And with his delivery so smooth, the ball gets on the hitters before they realize it.
Webster stays alive, fouls it back. Leading off the Orioles ninth.
You know, normally when you see a big power pitcher, you see a whirling dervish, but look how smooth he is. Brings a leg up under him. And then the ball just kind of fires out of his hand and explodes at the plate.
The 0-2 from Rivera. And again, Webster fouls it back.
You know, when you think about it, when you have a pitch like that, which is right almost down the middle of the plate, and have it fouled back, it tells you what kind of stuff the pitcher has.
Third straight foul. So Webster remains alive. The Yankees, of course, clinched this series with the victory last night. They lost their season opening series, and that is one of the reasons why the Yankees have gone 30-9, 26-1 when leading after 8 innings. They lost their season opening series to the Angels, have not lost a series since then. They won 13 and tied 3 others. Ground ball to the left side. Jeter, 1 away.
Well, that was the only breaking ball he threw in that sequence of pitches. Everything was hard, and then he threw a slider. And Lenny Webster pulled over it. And a nice play. That was not an easy play by Derek Jeter. He came up and had to make that play on the run, and then of course he threw the ball across the infield as accurately as you can on the dead run. But Girardi and Rivera are not messing around. They're going hard. Boom, right over the middle of the plate. I love to see that.
Mike Bordick 0 for 2 with a walk. Strike one. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. Our coordinating producer for Baseball Thursday is Larry Myers. One away. The 0-1 from Rivera. 0-2. Tonight's game produced by Tom Hewitt, directed by Jeff Mitchell, and our head of field operations is Andrea Jenkins. Tremendous job by our entire crew here tonight at Yankee Stadium. 0-2 on Bordick.
I was just thinking about the scouting report on Rivera. You talk about his fastball rising through the zone. Probably the law of physics, it doesn't, because he throws overhand. Anybody that throws overhand, you can't make the ball go up. You have to throw underneath it. But he throws so darn hard with such easy motion that it looks like it maintains that level and like it pops through the zone. A la Sandy Koufax. We were talking about Sandy Koufax earlier when we were talking about perfect games. Very easy delivery, and the ball exploded in the strike zone. And Bordick fighting just to make contact. You get in a situation like this, Kenny, and you're the hitter. You're up there just defending the zone, trying to put the ball in play.
Rivera has thrown 11 pitches. He has not thrown a ball. Strike 3. He's gone 0-2 on both Webster and Bordick. They both fouled off a couple. 2 away here in the 9th. Our Desinex play of the game. Bottom of the 8th. Paul O'Neill beats it out. Dale Swaim comes across to score the go-ahead run. Yankees would add another. They lead 3-1. Orioles down for their final out in the person of Brady Anderson.
Well, if you're a Yankee fan, this guy's fun to watch. This Mariano Rivera coming in and throwing high heat the way he does.
Back to Rivera. It's over. A line drive into the glove of Mariano Rivera, who saves his 9th. Andy Pettit, the winner. He is now 6-4. Scott Erickson, the loss, the hard luck loss. Now 4-5. Yankees win their 5th in a row. They are now 31-9, 16-3 at home. Orioles 20-26, 8 consecutive losses, swept for the 2nd consecutive series. 4 against Tampa Bay, and now a 3-game sweep by the Yankees. For Jeff Torborg, this is Kenny Albert saying so long from Yankee Stadium. Coming up on FX Baseball Saturday night. Giants and the Cardinals. Some of you will see the Devil Rays and the Mariners. Next Thursday night, Baseball Thursday on the Fox Sports Net right here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees and the Red Sox, or the Diamondbacks and the Giants. Coming up next, Fox Sports News Prime Time. The final once again, the Yankees 3, the Orioles 1. You've been watching Baseball